Hi everybody, I'm Kay and welcome to Bead Sisters. I am so glad you stopped by. I have spent the last 15-20 minutes trying again to get light to work the way I want it to. The problem I'm having right now is I think if I tilt my head, you see it, I get lots of reflection on my glasses, so apologies if that happens and it's distracting to you. I will try to remember to kind of keep my head tipped down a little bit. I have a gigantic new light over there. I have a ring light over here that's a little softer color. I can adjust the color on it. And so hopefully it'll work. We'll see. I keep playing around with lights and hoping that I can get decent lighting. This just feels a little harsh to me. So all of that out of the way, let's talk about what's been going on. My plan was to record this morning, but our dog Bentley injured his paw sometime in the last couple of weeks, and we had been putting antibacterial stuff on. It was like on the pad, a little cut or something. And it just was looking kind of swollen and red the last couple days. So we took him to the vet this morning. We got an antibiotic for him, and I've got to soak his paw in antibacterial solution a couple times a day too. So hopefully that'll take care of it. But anyway, I'll keep you up to date on how Bentley's doing. He was a very good boy at the vet, and he's got lots of treats and pets. So hopefully that will be just a little blip on the radar for this fall. So how are you? How are things going now that we're leaving summer behind, assuming that you're in the Northern Hemisphere? If you're not, you're leaving winter behind and heading into spring. Is that right? Yeah. So I hope that that transition is going well for you. I have not yet put out fall decorations for my house, although I do have a little thing up here that says something about sweater weather. Yeah, just says sweater weather. That's all I've done so far. My plan is to wash my red, white, and blue kind of stuff that I use for summer and then switch that over to fall stuff in the next week, I hope. I'm looking forward to getting that stuff out. I just noticed that my computer went dark, and I'm a little afraid that my ring light is going to join it because it's connected to that computer. If it does, I'll have to pause and fix it. We'll see. We're just winging it here. Well, let's talk about stuff I finished. I've actually finished a couple of things. How exciting. And it's like all socks. Okay, so first is with some yarn that I got from our trip to Iceland. It's Hossabund, I think. It is a bulky yarn that has some nylon in it. So it's great for bulky weight socks. I'm safe to show these because my son is not here and he doesn't watch the podcast, but these are going to be for him probably for Christmas. My computer's making noise over there. So I think it was 36 stitches on, take a stab at it and say US 5s, I think. And there are other colors available, but I really like this gray, light and dark gray marled. It's got a ribbed, 1x1 ribbed cuff. I was so confident that it was 20, but it's not. I think it's 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. 10 rounds of 1x1 rib. And then I think it was maybe 20 here. Does that look about right? Yeah. Before starting the heel. I did the heel flap, and gusset decreases, and then might have been 40 down here. He has big feet. And then just a wedge toe. I have both of them done. They're sort of crunchy. These are not soft socks, but I think they will be super cozy in the winter, and the nylon should help them hold up nicely for quite a long time. So I think these will be some really cozy winter socks, if nothing else, to wear around the house. I'm not sure that they'd be comfortable inside shoes because this is a Aran to bulky yarn, but I think it's Hossabund yarn, and I got it in Iceland. trying to think if I have some over here. Did I put my, hang on, let me check. I think I may have the ball band over here. Yay! I do. Okay, there we go. I have 2 balls of it. I use slightly over 1 for each sock. So I have enough. I could easily make a pair of short socks for me, if not a fairly tall leg, because my foot is considerably smaller than my 6'1" son. Okay, it's 80% wool, 20% nylon, 145 yards per 100 grams. Are we seeing that? And so this is what was left of one of the skeins, and then I have a second one just like this with leftovers. And it used, I think it used something like 52 grams. It was just over, may not even have been that much. It was close. I could almost have gotten 2 of these from 100-gram ball, but I didn't want to risk it. For my foot, I definitely could have done it. All right, let's talk about what else is finished. These socks are going to be entered in the fair. This is my plain vanilla socks. I did 20 rounds of 1x1 rib, and then I think it was 40, no, maybe 30. Can't remember. Before I got to the heel, I did a heel flap, gusset decreases, and then I think it was 40 here before I started on toe decreases. This is also a wedge toe. It's kind of rounded on the sock blocker, but it is also a wedge toe. So I don't know if I've said this before, but what I do for toe decreases, I usually do 64 stitches on one. So that's my normal vanilla socks. So when I get ready to do decreases, I often will switch whatever I'm on. I will, well, maybe not if I'm on DPNs, but if I'm doing a short circular, I will switch to magic loop so that I have, of course, 32 on the top, 32 on the bottom. I decrease alternate rounds, so decrease on each side, top and bottom of the sock. So I'm decreasing by 4 alternate rounds. So decrease round, knit round, decrease round, knit round, until I have decreased by half. So I've gone from 64 stitches to 32, right? Yeah, 32. And then I decrease every round until I have decreased again by half. So I'm down to 16 stitches total, 8 on the top and 8 on the bottom, and then Kitchener close. So every other round from 64 down to 32, and then every round from 32 down to 16, and then Kitchener the toe. So this yarn is from, is it moss yarn? Again, I don't have the band with me. I'm so sorry. I got this at the Frayed Knot in Savannah. I was there last spring, and this is their shop colorway that the company, I think it's moss yarn, dyes for them. If I can find it again, I'll put it below. It has cashmere in it, and it just feels glorious. And then these green and purple speckles in it just knit up so beautifully. There's a, you can see a little almost pooling there, but very little. Almost anything that's irregularly dyed like that, you're going to get a little pulling depending on your gauge, almost no matter what. So I think this is remarkably well distributed. Even as my number of stitches changed through here, I think it stayed the distribution of the speckles stayed really, really consistent. So, and then I have another half finished project. This is also for the fair, and this is actually from a pattern, Lavender Fields. It's a Helen Stewart pattern. Y'all know I love me some Helen Stewart patterns. This is from Sock Society. Doesn't say. Sock Society a year or two ago. And it actually has a picot cast on, which I had never done before. I've done picot bind off, but never picot cast on. So you can see it's got these little blips. So the idea is you cast on some stitches, limited number, like 6, and then you decrease by 2, and then you increase again and decrease by 2. So you get these little points sticking up. It is curling back down. You can see it's flopping back down. These have not been blocked, so I'm hoping blocking will do it. Here's my current plan once I finish the second sock. I will block it just as I normally would on sock blockers, but then because I want this little lace, there's a lace pattern in here, I want that to get nicely blocked. Then what I think I'm going to do is lay them flat on a blocking board and pin out these little picots. I could do it, I guess, all at once if I lay the whole thing flat, but I'm a little worried that that might take too long to dry. It kind of depends. If it's a hot sunny day, what I can do is lay them in the sock blockers on a blocking board and pin it out then. But if there's any concern that it might take too long to dry like that with it laying flat, I think what I'll do is block it and then pin it out, as I said, and just spritz this part so the whole sock is not wet. But I'm hoping I can get that to sit up. It certainly does on the pattern page. But if not, I mean, it doesn't look terrible like that. That little folded over edge reminds me of lace socks that I got for my daughter when she was little. So anyway, Lavender Fields by Helen Stewart, and I have the second one cast on. I can tell you I followed the pattern for the picot cast on, and I used the lace pattern. This is sock number 2, so you can see I've got it just past the lace. So basically it's a plain vanilla sock from here on out. The pattern itself called for 4 repeats of this little fairly simple lace pattern. I only did 3. I kind of like it being an odd number, but I only did 3. And then it calls for, I think it's 24 rounds of plain vanilla here, just knit around. I cut that in half to 12. And then this heel, I just did my normal slip stitch heel. There was a different heel in it, so I did my regular heel. And then like the other ones, I did, I think it was 40 rounds from the end of the gusset decreases to my toe decreases. So just my normal plain vanilla from here down. Anyway, once I got them cast on, then it's been pretty simple. I started casting it on for Magic Loop, which is how it's written. But for some reason, I just could not get that picot cast on to cooperate with me with Magic Loop. So what I finally did was cast it onto a long needle for Magic Loop, but then immediately switched it to a short circular, and that actually made it a little bit easier. I had a much easier time doing the top of the sock on that short circular. The nice thing is in submitting it to the fair, it will, I won't have any of those little ladders that can kind of form for the 2 sides of Magic Loop, or if I were doing double points, there's that risk of a slight ladder, which you can see a little bit on here, but it's not bad. I did these on double points. I don't know if you can, maybe a little bit right there where I was going from one double point to the other. It's not bad. I'm actually pretty pleased with it, but I don't know if I angle it. There's a slight place there. So if you're working at the fair, Bethany, don't give me away. Let the judges find it on their own. But I'm pretty happy with it, but I do need to get these done. So I've been pretty monogamous on these lace socks. I have to turn these in 3 weeks, I think. And I also signed up to do a pair of mitts, which I haven't started. So hopefully I will get this done in the next couple of days. I've done the hard part, and then I'll get those done and I can get the mitts done. I think the mitts are going to be done on a worsted weight with a cable. So I think that's going to go pretty quickly. I hope so. If I don't get it done, there's no penalty if I don't get that done. All right, let's talk about plans. I just mentioned that. So mitts, the next time we talk, hopefully those mitts will be at least underway, if not done and submitted. But I do have a couple of other plans. I have notes. Let me show you a pattern that I got recently. It was on sale. There's a newsletter for Arabian Knits. And there was a coupon or a discount code for this little baby hat pattern. And look at that. Isn't that sweet? I'm going to turn it around and you can maybe see it a little better. They're being blocked on balloons or something. A really cute little baby hat pattern. It calls for, I think it's sport weight yarn. And so I'm trying to decide. I have a couple of options here. One of which I dyed, one of which is purchased. This is the one that I dyed. It's my chestnut on Aiken Sport. Tip down so we don't get too much glare. But I think that would be a really cute kid's hat. I think that would work boy or girl. Can you imagine that with a little pink bow on it? That would be so cute. So that's one option for whenever I get to this. The other is a fairly precious skein. This is from One Twisted Tree, Danny, and she is, to my knowledge, no longer dyeing yarn. This is her sport base. It is 100% superwash in the Admiral Adana, I think it is. Semi-tonal, gorgeous, gorgeous blue. And that's actually a pretty good representation of it. It's just this beautiful, beautiful deep blue. And so that's my other one that I'm considering. I think either one of those would make a really cute kid's hat. And that's pretty together, actually. So, some of my other plans are going to be Advent plans, and I want to tell you a little bit about that and what's coming up. But before I do, I'm looking at my notes to make sure I don't forget anything. You know how that goes. I went to a retreat in August. As you know, there haven't been a lot of retreats over the last several years, but this one finally met again. It's the Rewind Retreat at Lake Greenwood in South Carolina. And we have a house on Lake Greenwood. It's a little weekend place up there. And what I did is to sign up for the retreat, but as a commuter. So you pay a little bit less if you're staying at your own place or staying somewhere else. It's not terribly expensive if you want to stay on site, and meals are provided. Once you get there, you don't have to leave. So it's not bad. I've forgotten what the price was, but it was $3 something, I think, if you were staying on property. But I stayed at our lake house and then just went over in the morning and stayed all day and went back and slept at our house. It's a really fun retreat. Each retreat, I think, has its own character. And this one, at some retreats, I'm like the old lady. And I go to others, and this one I was probably not the youngest, but I was probably below the median age for this one. And so it was just a really, really fun retreat. Lots of wisdom in the room, and lots of people who we're talking about their adult children and their grandchildren. And I really appreciate that, because that is the stage of life that I am getting into. I have adult children. My youngest is graduating next year. And so, yeah, it's just kind of fun to be talking to people who are just a couple of years ahead of me in life and are able to give me some advice. So that was really nice. However, I want to show you what I brought home. There was a yarn shop represented, and then I took my bags. I didn't take yarn since I knew there was already a yarn seller going to be there. But I took some bags, which was really fun. It gave me a little bit of a boost coming up to SAF, because I'm going to have a booth at SAF this year. I'm pretty excited to be back. But anyway, I got a couple of door prizes and something from the free table. The thing I got from the free table, sock blockers. I have my wire ones, which I do actually really like, but there are times, these are the ones I already had, but there are times when I would like to have a second set. So these sock blockers, they look brand new, were on the free table. So I brought those home. But the other things were a couple of door prizes. One is, it was a small skein of, it's a sporty, I think it's a sport weight yarn. Yeah, sport weight yarn. In these beautiful fall colors. I really like the colors. It is from Strumpf and Sportwool. Is that Is that the name of the company? I'm not sure. German, most likely. And I think I could probably get a pair of shorty socks. It's only 50 grams, but I think I could get a pair of shorty socks for me out of those. And I like it. It's 75-25 wool nylon blend. I just am in love with those colors. I'm guessing this is going to stripe. It looks like it's going to self-stripe. There's not a photo of it on here. So that looks like fun to me. The other thing, well, there's actually something else too. There's a, I got a little succulent. I'll try to remember to put in a picture of it. But it's a little succulent plant inside a pink and white container that it's like knit stitches around. It's really cute. I'll try to remember to put a picture of that in there. But I also got a bag of pom-poms. I have never bought these little wool, or not wool, but little fake fur pom-poms for hats. But I am so excited to have them. They look like something from Dr. Seuss. And so I have gray and brown and black. They're like tribbles. They're like tribbles. Aren't they cute? So I have two of the gray. Almost matches my hair. I have a brown. Look how gorgeous that is. And then it's black. So pretty. Ooh, you know what? That might work. I don't know if I want to do that on a kid's hat. The brown on there, maybe. Black. Lots of possibilities. So I'm actually really excited to have these. Like I said, I had never bought any, but I actually am kind of glad to have some to play with. And colors that I think I would really enjoy using. Blah, 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 edit, edit, edit. Okay, let's talk about Vlogmas. Can you believe it? I'm already talking about Vlogmas and we're barely past Labor Day. I get really impatient when I see stores that are bringing out Christmas stuff in July. I understand if it's craft stuff because you need to get started, but when they're putting out Christmas trees and Christmas ornaments in July and August, I get a little impatient. However, much like crafting supplies, when I'm preparing to do Vlogmas videos, which I'm hoping to do this year, I need to start looking at stuff early. So that's what I've been doing. Have you ordered an Advent set of any kind this year? I have ordered a yarn Advent, and I also have, and this was months ago, a sewing one. I think it's from Missouri Star Quilt Company. It's been so long, I only vaguely remember. So I will have one for knitting, one for sewing. I'm probably going to get a coffee one and possibly something for Bentley. I haven't decided. I did a chocolate one last year, but I'm not sure I can manage that one again. It was really expensive, like $160 or something. So I'm not sure I'm going to manage that one this year. But anyway, I'm making plans. So the yarn one is from the same person that I bought one from last year, partly because she had a 10-gram mini option, which not only costs less, I'm more likely to work through it. I find if it's 20 grams, if you're knitting through all of that, that's like a full skein of yarn every 5 days. And I know during December, I'm just almost certainly not going to be able to do that. But if I have a project that uses 10 grams or less per day, I may actually be able to keep up with that. And she had that option, which lowered the price considerably. So that was really nice. Again, it's PK yarn. Last year's was a Nutcracker ballet theme. This year, it's a Christmas Carol, the Dickens Christmas Carol. I have a stack of books, Christmas idea books from the library. This one, however, I purchased. And so I'm going to be reading through this. This is Dickens Christmas Carol, but it is divided for reading each day during Advent. And so you could, am I going to be able to stop? I don't know. It talks a little bit about the background at first, but then when you read, like I would read December 1st, and it explains a couple of the terms that may be less familiar to modern readers. Let's see if I can find here. it says, Scrooge's name was good upon change for anything he chose to put his hand to. And then it says good upon change, and it explains. It's talking about stock exchange, and Scrooge had good credit. Then it's just a couple of pages to read, and it gives you a Bible verse, which I think is kind of cool, and a discussion question if you're reading it with friends or family. So the Bible verse is Ephesians 4:31. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. So any bad thoughts, you should put away those thoughts from you. Bitterness, wrath, anger, clamor, evil speaking, put that away. But then the discussion question, was Scrooge a happy man? I think most of us would agree that he was not. So anyway, I'm pretty excited. Most of the days are just a few pages. Some are longer than others. But anyway, I'm looking forward to this. I think it'll be fun. The hardest part will be not reading the whole thing right away. Now, if you want to join me, certainly I ordered this on Amazon and it was not expensive. It was like $5. But A Christmas Carol is public domain. So you could get it on Kindle for free. You could print out a copy for free. I didn't check, but you can probably get an audio version on LibriVox for free, and then just kind of divide it up as you go. I think that would be really fun. But I'm looking forward to reading through this as I open my Advent yarn from PK Yarn. The other things I'm doing, and one of them I actually purchased. It's a German Advent book. So about German traditions. My husband's family, if you go back far enough, I think you get to Germany for the Schumperts. And so I was kind of interested. This kind of popped up randomly and I thought, well, a little bit of German heritage in the family. Let's look at some of those. I also got a book on Kindle. The physical copy was like $30 and I think the Kindle one was $10 or so. But it's German baking, so Christmas traditional baking. And I've actually ordered some specialty ingredients. I'm hoping to do some recipe videos and I'll try some of those and let you know what I think. The other thing is I am considering, I can't remember if it's in here or not, but doing a couple of nights where we're watching Christmas movies. And I would like to do some things that are associated with those movies. So possibly something like Home Alone. And we do, this is not the one. Home Alone. And, oh, yes, it is. And maybe pizza night because Kevin orders pizza while he's home alone. And I also thought for if we watch Elf one night, we might do paper snowflakes. Isn't that pretty? So maybe work on some special paper snowflakes. This is from Swedish Christmas Crafts by Helen Lundberg. This book is from our local library, and I was looking for a date. Don't see it. I don't think it's real new. 2008. So this book's been around a while. Some of these I think I looked at last year. Pretty sure this Country Living Christmas at Home. I looked at that one some last year. This is Southern Living's 2021 Christmas book, but all of these are just inspiration for me. If I find one good idea per book, I consider that I have done well. So you can see my stack here. I was able to get a little bit better selection because I'm starting early, and the person at the library even said, good idea, because these get gone quick when you get closer to Thanksgiving. Where did I see? Oh, here it is. Scandinavian horse garland. Isn't that cool? So it's basically a like paper chain, but they're horses. I'm not sure if there is a pattern for that. Maybe, because that would be awesome. Let's see if I can find in the back. Do you put a horse garland pattern? Yes. So there's the pattern for the horse. So I thought there's just some fun ideas in all of these. This one is called Everything Christmas, Celebrate the Joy of Advent. Another one, the Everything Christmas book. I think this one's older. This is like songs and stories and that kind of stuff. I've got some music in here, like Away in a Manger and Baby's Born. And then this one, Christmas Around the World. I'm pretty sure I read through this one last year, or at least got some ideas from it. So yeah, starting to make Advent plans. I welcome your suggestions for Advent. I have been watching a lot of Advent videos over the last couple of weeks for some inspiration and trying to make note of the things that I enjoy seeing. The ones that I tend to like the best are sort of day in the life type. So you see when somebody has a few minutes to sit down and knit, and they make coffee or tea and maybe light a candle, and it's just something warm and welcoming and cozy about that I really, really enjoy. But I would love to know what you think. I read somewhere a discussion, might have been on Reddit. Somebody said, am I the only one who hates Vlogmas? Like, well, you're probably not the only one, but I don't agree with you. But they said, I don't want to see you making coffee every day. And I thought, oh no, I love that part. I love seeing what people's routine is every morning. But I will try not to make that part too long, but I would love to know what you think. What do you like to see? Do you like to see people making coffee in their kitchen, baking? Do you like to actually see them open Advent stuff? Like, is seeing the packaging and the process of that important to you? Or is it just cut to the chase, just show me the yarn? Something that I really like is if somebody has a yarn, or any craft for that matter, but an Advent that they're opening, I actually like to see the project that they do with that. So that's why I wanted something that I was pretty sure I could keep up with, and barring emergency, obviously, I would like something that I can keep up with over the course of Advent. Although I did see one where the lady did not decide on a project until she had all of the yarn, which I thought is perfectly reasonable. But what she did was each day she hung it up like a garland. So by the end, it was this gorgeous array of coordinated yarn. If you had just a random swap with a friend, that may or may not be appealing to you. But when you had a coordinated set like that, it was actually quite beautiful as a decoration. So in that sense, it was actually really nice to see them all together rather than knit up into a project. But I would still say my preference is for seeing it being worked, going from the skein into some sort of project and seeing what it looks like that way. I also enjoy when people, like, they go shopping or they go to an event, so a little bit of photos or footage from that. I really enjoy that. Or just going for a ride. They're driving to visit somebody in the next town, seeing a little bit of what that drive is like. I really enjoy that, but I'm not sure that that's something that my audience would enjoy. So let me know what you think. I will tell you one other thing before I let you go. I'm going to swap out my glasses for that because I need to coordinate. I got something in the mail yesterday. I recorded video earlier today, and we'll see if I get that edited and up. But pair eyewear, by the way. I got my 2022 spooky box from the Fat Quarter Shop, and it's really cute. I won't spoil it right now, but Fat Quarter Shop does a great job, and they have a lot of really fun stuff. So yeah, check out the Fat Quarter Shop. I don't know if they have any left at this point, but they have lots of themed boxes through the year. They do a spooky box. They do one for Christmas. They have done one for July 4th. They've done one for Valentine's Day. I'm not sure if there were any others, but I've gotten ones for all of those over the year, and it's really fun. Sometimes I get to the project, sometimes I don't, but we'll see. All right, everybody, it was really good visiting with you, and I hope that you are having a most excellent September. I will hope to check back in with you pretty soon. I'm going to pop in right here. Actually, not a photo. I'll just tell you. One of the reasons I haven't recorded the last few weeks, I don't know if you've noticed, my eye looks a little funky. I had a blood vessel burst in my eye a couple of weeks ago. I had this happen about 10 years ago, and it takes a while to heal. It's not particularly painful, but it just takes a couple of weeks. This one was particularly bad. So it's been now a little over 2 weeks, and it's still not healed. So if it looks a little weird to you, that's why. But that was one of the reasons I didn't record. All I could have done is possibly worn sunglasses or done total voiceover, just like held stuff up, just video the stuff and voiceover, because it just looked too weird. The white of my eye was almost black. And so I knew it was improving when it went to red, and it sort of heals like a bruise if you've never had one. So as it heals, it turns really weird, funky colors. So my eye is looking a little weird. It's kind of red on this side and sort of yellowy on this side, the white of it. I can see fine. I've been able to see the whole time. And at worst, it felt like I had sand or an eyelash in my eye. And for the vast majority of the time, it hasn't hurt at all. It just looks a little strange. All right, well, once again, thank you for stopping by. I am so glad you're here. If you could drop a comment, it doesn't have to be a long thought out thing, although I love that. You can just say, enjoyed it, or happy September, or heart emoji. Anything that just it shows a little bit of engagement is helpful to the channel, and I would love that. And if you like it, you can subscribe. I tend not to post all that much, so it won't clutter up your subscription feed. All right, everybody, good to visit with you once again, and we'll chat again soon.